Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is HowFast. I wanted to thank any of our new subscribers, and if you're new here and you don't know what we do, I'm working on a LS powered drag car that was once a CAS car, which is a Canadian NASCAR if you're not familiar with that. We have our built LS engine and a transmission that may or may not go in the car. Might be something going on with that. I'll tell you guys that a little bit more about that. Also have some kids content. We got some go-karts, some power wheels, and I also do how-tos on my BMW 328xi. Hildy, she's an E90, and I also have a 3500 GMC Sierra from 1996 named Judy, who has been giving me some trouble lately. So there's actually going to be a little bit of content today about Judy. Had a little issue with her earlier this week. She didn't want to start, so I filmed a little bit of that, and then there's actually something else that I want to address that's really been bothering me lately. So we'll take a look at that a little bit later. If you guys are interested in any of that, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload, so you don't miss any of the episodes. So last week we put together this go-kart for Hudson, and got it started, got it running, got it moving under its own power. And I went to show you guys, and I pulled the recoil right out of the motor, like, of course, right? So I went and picked up a new rope, and I also noticed while I was playing with this that the brakes were hitting this, and that's why the brakes aren't working. So I'm going to cut this out right here, and that should clearance that, no problem. So I'm going to get started doing that right now. Why don't you guys check out what I did with Judy earlier this week, and then I'll catch up with you after that. Alright guys, here's what we're dealing with. So it looks like probably at one time this truck had a different kind of battery set up in it, right? These are like you can see it has a top post right now, but maybe it was like a side, maybe this could go into like the side. And someone's put this adapter on here. So I've loosened this off, and this cable here used to run in here, and that's what's come undone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and I'm going to pull this piece off. I'm going to take this piece off, this cable, and I'm going to bring it inside, and I'm going to try and put them back together. If I can't, there might be an option to try and get some slack on this cable down here and run it to the side post on this battery. So that's option B, but for right now I'm just going to try and get this thing back to where it was. Alright, here is that piece inside. You can take a look at it. The problem I'm having is getting heat down into here enough to like melt some solder to stick this wire on, this cable onto. So I think I'm going to cut this back. I mean, I don't know how hard it is. It's pretty hard, but I'm going to try and cut it back down to the metal down there so I can actually get some heat on it, and then hopefully I can solder that back on. You get that going. Alright, here it is, all soldered up back together. So I'm going to plop it back in the car here, or in the truck. But I'm questioning whether that battery, after being left for 3 weeks or so, it's a brand new battery. So I'm hoping it's still good. Let's check it out. Good sign. We got interior lights. You hear the fuel pump. Oh, Judy! Oh, baby. Good to have you back. Okay. Good news, guys. Judy's back on the road. Back in business, baby. Alright, I have the recoil off here. This is just 3 10 mil bolts. If any of you were watching last week, as I mentioned, I ripped the recoil out of the GoCart, and I'm going to put this one back in. Now, I used to do this. I used to work for an equipment rental company, and I used to have to do this pretty regularly, but damn, that was 10 or 15 years ago now, and I don't really remember the whole kit and caboodle. But I feel like with a little trial and error, I'll figure it out. So I'm gonna, I got a new cord, so I'm just gonna fish that through the hole here and into, there's a, I don't know if you guys can see, there's a hole that corresponds with it over here. Those two need to go together, and then I think I gotta kind of put a wind on it before I put it back onto the engine. But put it together right now and see how it works. Now to mount this front fairing, I think I'm just going to kind of space it up here. Kind of almost looks like that's where it wants to go. I was debating on putting like a metal bracket down there, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to chop up a piece of metal, and then we're just going to tack it in there. Alright guys, got the go-kart finished up here, got the seat mounted, got the fairing on, got the recoil fixed, and got the brakes working. So, all that to be said, let's get Hudson out here. It's like I said, it's pouring rain out today. I'm sure you guys know it is a really nasty day out today. So, I don't think we're going to be able to have Hudson take this for a test drive, but I do want him to get in it, hear it running, and step on the gas and feel if it can move, even push him in his weight with the power of that gear in the back. I feel like this is going to be a series or a saga, if you will, for the gearing and the clutch on this, but we'll get to that. So I'm going to go get Hudson right now. Let's see what his reaction is. Boys, come to the garage. Boys, come to the garage. Over. You think you could touch the pedals?
Yeah, but my legs are so hard.
I don't know how you're going to drive with your shoes on the wrong feet. It doesn't look comfortable. Yeah. Now, I'm going to try and start this thing. Choke, gas. Let's see what happens. Okay, go gentle on the gas, just gentle, okay? Step on it. Step on the gas. Is it brakes? What's up, Jace?
I want to try.
You want to try?
Yeah, quick.
Okay, I'll work on getting that gas pedal fixed up, but I think the next day that it's nice outside, we take this thing for a test drive. What do you think? Yeah.
He's trying to.
Okay, I would say that was a success. The kids like it. Jace is a little bit jealous, I'm sure, but it may be, the Porsche may be even faster than this off the start because the gearing. So next episode, hopefully the weather will be a little bit nicer and we can get Hudson out on the go-kart here and actually take it for a real test drive. So we're gonna put that to the side right now. We already showed you one of the problems I had with Judy. The next one I want to work on is something that's been plaguing me since the day I got her. The wipers have been like this intermittent problem where they work and then they don't work, and it doesn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me why they were so intermittent. It seemed like at first like it was a mechanical problem, but then since it was intermittent, it told me it was electrical, but everything seemed to be hooked up right. I looked up on these trucks, and it turns out that they have a circuit board right underneath the cowl in the engine bay, and that is prone to having some problems with soldering. So we're going to pull out the soldering gun again, and we're going to get out there, we're going to pull that circuit board out, we're going to try and fix it. So stick around, we're going to jump into that one right now. Okay, so here's the problem with Judy. Now we'll see if she actually does this because it's intermittent. Oh, she's working right now. Isn't that nice? It's actually working. Which is unfortunate because if it wasn't working and we fixed this, then we would know. But I have watched a couple videos. It seems this is our problem right here. So I pull a couple of these screws out. There's a circuit in there that I got to pull out. I've got to disconnect that wire there, but then I got to pull that circuit out. We got to resolder a couple joints on these. So I'm going to get the tools together and I'll set up the camera and get started on that.
From what I understand, this harness dangling from this causes a soldering joint to break inside here. I hope that's the case with this and it's an easy fix, but we won't find out until we open it up, so let's do that. Yeah, definitely don't do that. You guys are paying attention, I just ripped that thing clean off there, so don't do that either. Oh, damn. This is not going well. Oh, damn, that was not cool. Good luck getting that back together. Alright, so with these, this is the circuit board we pulled out, and from what I understand, there are a couple items that can create the problem that I'm having. One is corrosion on these three connections here, but they all look to be pretty clean. I mean, I can see metal on all of them. The next two are these small pickups for, I think these, I'm not sure what they are, but I did notice that this one is worn down quite a bit more than this one, and that this piece was pushed in quite a bit more. So I'm wondering, I bent it out so that it would match the location of this one. I'm hoping that might have something to do with what we're dealing with. And the last thing is, and as I had mentioned outside, was the cable that hangs on there, I guess, is prone to cracking the solder connections around these 5 pads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. And you won't even be able to see it. But so what I'm going to do is, right now, like I said, I kind of cleaned these off. I pulled this one forward a little bit more. Those look clean. I'm going to resolder these. I'm just going to hold the soldering iron to these and remelt the pads, and then put it back in the truck, and hopefully I shouldn't have the problem anymore.
All right, time to put this thing back in the truck.
Yeah, you guys didn't see, but I plastic welded that piece back into the center here with that same soldering iron. Unfortunately, that top screw though, that thing came off and it ain't going back on. That's it.
All right, I don't know. See what happens. I mean, worst case, they don't work now. That would be even worse, right? Wouldn't it? Okay, they work. It's a good sign. But I guess only time will tell. Interesting. Interesting. They're stopping now at the top. Like they don't know where they are. Alright, I figured it out. So I pulled the circuit board back out, and you know those 2 little tongs that I said that I had adjusted and made one even with the other? It didn't need to be. It was right where it was. So I bent it back down, and now we have our intermittent wipers all the way up to low and high. And then also when we turn it off, they stop down where they're supposed to be. So Judy's all fixed. That problem's been plaguing me since the day I got her, and I'm super happy about that. So I'm gonna end this one off today. I promise we'll get back to the LS build next week. I want to still cut out that part of that cross member. I want to clearance some more steel for the exhaust. We're gonna pull out some of the old brake lines. I'm gonna put we're gonna cover up some of those holes that are in the K member, and then we're gonna think about where we're gonna be running the new brake line. So it's probably going to be in the same place, but all new material. So if you guys haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. I'll catch up with you guys next time. Find out how fast we can make all these cars go.